Recently you've all joined us as we've celebrated the highs and critiqued the lows of WWE's 2K series within every entry from 2K14 to 2K23, exploring the best and worst elements of each game in this iconic series. Today we're taking this exploration a step further. We're delving into the nuances of the 2K universe to uncover the hidden gems and perhaps the overhyped features of each title. And in this video, from 2K14 all the way to the latest 2K23, we're on a mission to shed light on the most underrated aspects of these games. These aren't the features that didn't get the spotlight they deserve, but added a unique flavor to the 2K gaming experience. So let's start by going all the way to 2K14 to start things off, but before we do that, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we upload a video. WWE 2K14 Tournaments in Universe Mode. 2K14 was a game that did a lot right, almost perfect you could say, and it's remembered for those many things it did so right. But we've noticed that there's one underrated aspect that often gets overlooked, which is the use of tournaments within Universe Mode. This was a game changer as it allowed players of the Universe Mode to have a tournament play out on their Universe cards without the hassle of setting each matchup individually and it also not being tracked by Universe Mode. It's surprising how this feature, which added so much depth to the Universe Mode, didn't become a mainstay in the series. Interestingly, even with its popularity among players, this feature was short-lived and has been absent in recent iterations of the 2K series. The absence of tournaments, especially King of the Ring in the latest games, is a missed opportunity. It just reminds us of how innovative 2K14 was enhancing the player's experience throughout the entire game, and in this case, in Universe Mode itself. WWE 2K15 Improvements to Selling. WWE 2K15, a game often criticized for its shortcomings, actually brought some notable improvements to the table, particularly in the aspect of selling by the wrestlers within the game. The next-gen debut of 2K games took the realism of wrestling to a whole new level with features like tired pins and wrestlers using the ropes to aid their recovery when getting knocked over. These realistic enhancements to the gameplay played a significant role in making each match feel more authentic and dynamic than past versions of WWE games. It was a step forward that hasn't been really given its credit, possibly due to 2K15 not being that good of a 2K video game. Despite the overall mixed reception of 2K15, the advancements in selling mechanics were that rare silver lining. They set a new standard for future games in the series, showcasing a level of detail in the wrestlers' movements and reactions that had not been seen before. This aspect of 2K15 deserves a nod for elevating the in-ring experience and laying out the groundwork for subsequent improvements. WWE 2K16 Seamless Entrances. The 2K16 brought us the game-changing feature of seamless entrances, a detail that significantly enhanced the overall presentation of the game. Gone were the days of load screens disrupting the flow of entrances. Instead, players could enjoy continuous TV-like entrances complete with dynamic camera pans to the crowd or announcers. This addition brought an unprecedented level of realism to the game, mirroring the actual broadcast experience of WWE. It's a feature that is now expected in every single 2K video game release, but back then it was a revolutionary step for the series. WWE 2K16 doesn't always get the recognition it deserves for introducing this feature, which has become a staple in creating the WWE gaming experience to be more and more like what we see each and every week on TV. WWE 2K17 Showcase Mode DLC. WWE 2K17 saw the unfortunate cancellation of the main Showcase Mode, which was originally going to be based on Brock Lesnar's career. It was cancelled largely due to licensing issues with key wrestlers such as Kurt Angle, which would have been too important not to include when looking back on Brock's career. A match like his first ever WrestleMania not being included would just be crazy. However, even though the Brock Showcase was cancelled, there was still a Hall of Fame Showcase Mode, which was a DLC that was added post-release for 2K17, and it often gets overlooked. This DLC offered a unique selection of matches celebrating the 2016 Hall of Fame inductees spanning various promotions. It was a solid addition providing fans with memorable and diverse wrestling experiences. The absence of a main Showcase Mode in 2K17 often overshadows the value of the Hall of Fame Showcase DLC. Like, we really don't need to mention the equally good 2K16 Hall of Fame Showcase due to the Showcase Mode in 2K16 getting its praise already due to the fantastic Stone Cold Showcase. But due to there being no main showcase, this one gets completely forgotten about, which is a shame, because it brought something special to the table. It allowed players to relive iconic matches and moments from eras that are usually not covered in 2K, and are in all honesty unlikely to ever be covered again. It's a hidden gem in the game that deserved a little bit more praise in a mostly unremarkable game in 2K17. WWE 2K18 improvements to Universe Mode. The 2K18 made some notable strides in improving Universe Mode, an aspect that often goes unappreciated due to many fans in WWE games pointing out that Universe Mode hasn't felt the same since WWE 12, and we feel the same way too. But even though we've had those same thoughts about WWE 12's Universe Mode, a Universe Mode such as 2K18's gets kind of forgotten about when it did quite a lot of game stuff for Universe. It introduced more cutscenes, a new ranking system, rivalry intensity options, and improved promo systems. These additions were pretty awesome as it offered players more depth and variety in how they could shape their universe and rivalries. It was a commendable effort to rejuvenate the mode even if it didn't quite recapture the magic of WWE 12. Despite these improvements, 2K18's Universe Mode didn't receive as much acclaim as it deserved. It was one of the last times the mode felt like it was getting genuine attention and effort from the developers. For fans of Universe Mode, 2K18 represented a rarer high point for the mode in recent years. WWE 2K19 Payback Moves. 2K19 introduced Payback Moves, a feature that allowed players to turn the tide of a match in innovative ways. From spitting mist in an opponent's eyes to using brass knuckles or executing a low blow, these moves added a new layer of strategy and surprise to matches. It was an exciting addition to the series, providing more ways for players to outsmart their opponents and change the momentum of a match when it wasn't going their way. Despite the overall success and positive reception of 2K19 with changes and improvements such as a cage match, Hell in a Cell match, My Career and custom Money in the Bank briefcases, the introduction of Payback Moves didn't seem to get as much attention as the other additions and improvements. It's a feature that just adds to the overall realism, as these sneaky moves are what you see on TV, especially by sneaky heels. We would definitely like to see the payback system added to and improved in future WWE games, but it shouldn't be forgotten that 2K19 was the game that did it first. WWE 2K20, the amount of content within. A 2K20 may have landed with a thud when it first hit the scene, earning a reputation as one of the series' least favourite entries. But there's more to this game than meets the eye. Buried beneath its rocky launch and infamous glitches, there lies a treasure trove of content just waiting to be explored. We're talking about a My Career mode that spans over 25 years, the Showcase mode, the 2K Originals mode with its array of new showcases and towers, and let's not forget the Roman Reigns Tower in 2K Towers mode. The game is practically bursting with unlockables across each mode too, turning it into a solid 50-hour adventure for those committed to unlocking and doing everything. Now it's true that when 2K20 first launched, it was more notorious for its bugs and glitches than its gameplay. This was a game that frankly didn't make the best first impression, but as time has passed and patches have rolled out, we can now appreciate the game was stacked with content within. It's a facet of 2K20 that warrants a second look and a deeper conversation. Despite its initial flaws, 2K20 might actually be one of, if not the most content-rich 2K games ever made. It's certainly an underrated aspect of 2K20. So while it may not have been a fan favorite out of the gate, and many are still not fans to this day, 2K20 was still a content-filled experience of which we might not see again. WWE 2K22 improvements to weapons. With 2K22, the series saw a resurgence after a disappointment of 2K20. Many things were changed and updated to make 2K22 a stronger release, and one of the lesser discussed yet significant improvements was the overhaul of weapon system. Players can now place ladders and tables anywhere, and the weapons broke realistically than ever before. Additionally, new weapons were introduced, refreshing the in-game weapon choice, which was much needed. We had some same weapons since 2K14, so a change was really needed. The focus on reviving the series' reputation in 2K22 meant that some of the finer details, like the improved weapons mechanics, didn't get the spotlight they deserved. These changes enhanced the realism and refreshed a part of the game that needed it, though it does feel like it's one of 2K22's more underrated improvements, especially when you had the new My GM, My Rise and My Faction modes debuting on 2K22, which got the most of the player base talking. And finally, WWE 2K23, the Legacy My Rise story. In WWE 2K23's My Rise, players are treated to two distinct stories, the men's The Lock and the women's The Legacy. While The Log received mixed reviews for being unoriginal and in all honesty a pretty boring experience, The Legacy in comparison offered an engaging and original storyline that we feel many players have overlooked. The story felt like it had more twists and turns and options which added to the replayability of the story. We never completed The Lock and thought that we needed to play anytime soon. However, after playing The Legacy, it felt like a second playthrough was much needed due to all the choices that you can make in the story. Now, we're not saying that it's perfect or the best 2K story ever made, but it's certainly worth a playthrough if you've never gotten around to playing it after beating The Lock story. Though this is why we feel that this is 2K23's most underrated feature, because if you look at the trophy list percentages for 2K23, then you'll be able to notice that many players have not played the story compared to the locks, and we just feel that players are missing out on the better story here. So if you never played it, be sure to give it a shot. But there you have it folks, the most underrated thing in every WWE 2K game. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling video game content.